manager, and guess what? I am super excited for today because today we are kicking off the Avid Learner Professional Development Series. And the key topic that we're going to kind of zoom around here is the People Centric Leadership topic. Great stuff. But why? Why did we decide to choose this topic as our inaugural kickoff? Well, avid learners need leaders. Leaders need avid learners. And when we begin to talk about leaders, we're going to learn more about the fact that people-centric leaders are phenomenal. They really are the future of our company. And we're going to talk about that today. This series is intended to impact professional and personal development, support career pathing, and support organizational needs. All great things. We also landed here today, you guys, because many of you are aware, we recently sent out an Avid Learner survey. We have a great tool called WorkStep, and lots of conversations across the United States have been had. From those 3 different components, material rose up and we realized, wow, training and development is definitely a need. It's not going anywhere. In fact, we need to embrace it and we really need to just explode it for 2025. So where do we begin? Well, from the survey, it told us leadership, technical training, communication, data analysis, and lots more were some of the key topics that our associates were interested in. They wanted further development in those topics. So this, my friends, is a great entryway, a wonderful segue for our inaugural kickoff. With that said, what's the purpose? Well, our purpose today is to empower you to develop your leadership skills with a people-centric mindset. It's to create, cultivate, support environments where people thrive, where trust, communication, and collaboration are at the heart of every decision. It's about people. People make it happen, and we're going to discover this today. By providing dynamic and effective training, we help learners build their emotional intelligence, enhance their coaching abilities, and develop a deep commitment to the growth and success of the people around them. And ultimately, we aim to create a ripple effect of a positive change that extends beyond the workplace, cultivating a culture of respect, engagement, and shared purpose. This is what we're about today. So what are those desired learning outcomes that I hope that you have as takeaways for today? I hope, my friends, that there is an understanding of the key qualities of a leader, that I'm able to define people-centric leadership for you, that we recognize the leader in each one of us. We explore some best practices and figure out how to add the human touch. Now, for some, that's going to be easier than others, but we'll get there and I'll give you some tools and insight. These are some of the desired outcomes for today. Before we go any further, though, we probably should figure out what are the qualities that define a leader? Does a leader have to have a title? What are some of those key traits and characteristics, excuse me? Would anyone like to share? I'd love to hear from just a couple of people. What do you think defines a leader? Anyone?
I would say, this is Lakeisha.
Hi, Lakeisha.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I would say that you should have the ability to with inspire people, to influence people in a sense, to help people work as a team together, oneness, be congruent and synchronized. I'm not going to keep going because I don't want to take it all from everybody else.
Thank you, Lakeisha. That's spot on. I appreciate it. Sarah, you had your hand up next. Would you like to share?
A good listener.
Oh, I love that. Yes, a good listener. And sometimes that's a hard skill set for people to profess. Yes, thank you. I see Jacqueline, your hand is up. Go right ahead.
Good morning, Linda. I would say being self-aware and having a growth mindset are the two things I think make best leaders.
Oh, these are wonderful. You guys are doing so well. I love that you're already on the same track as I am when we talk about the qualities that define a leader. Because some people really struggle with understanding leadership. And by the way, I saw there were lots of hands. You guys, thank you. I want to be respectful of your 30 minutes. So we're going to kind of move this along as well. But I really appreciate everyone sharing. And I see there are things going into the chat. When we do talk about leaders, we want to ensure that we understand there is a difference between a boss, a manager, versus a leader. And we're going to land on the leadership side, but we do need to ensure that we have clarity. When we talk about a boss, we're basically talking about someone who is an individual who oversees employees or an organization. In fact, a lot of times when we say that word and it rolls off the tip of our tongue, it almost feels like we're saying a bad word or it's negative. It doesn't feel so good. Bosses typically hand out the work to be done and say, go get it done. I'll be watching the numbers and the dollars and so on. But leaders, that's a soft feel. It's a nice name. Leaders are people who are individuals that possess the ability to influence others and inspire them towards the accomplishment of a goal. In fact, quite often, leaders are individuals who are either smack dab in the middle of the project or the event that's going on, or they're out in front. They're carving the way. They're heading the path. They're saying, come on, follow me. We've got this. They have people who want to follow them. Leaders are generally where we want to land. It's a more pleasant experience, not only for yourself, but for others. So qualities that define a leader versus a boss, let's look a little bit deeper. Here on the left, we've painted a picture for you about what a boss basically looks like. And then on the right, we have a leader. So as we work down through these lists, we see that a boss drives employees, but a leader coaches employees. Love that. Bosses are managers. Leaders are mentors. Bosses intimidate, leaders inspire. Bosses depend on authority, and leaders, they lead on goodwill. Bosses are all about the I, but a leader is we. And bosses utilize others versus leaders, they develop. Bosses take the credit. Leaders give out the credit. Bosses command, and yet leaders ask. And bosses resist change, but leaders adapt. Leaders lead by example, and they guide avid learners. Leadership is something very precious. Being a boss, maybe not so much. It feels a little negative. Leaders have a passion to see others rise around them. Oh my goodness, it should give you just goosebumps. Leaders get so excited when they see people being nurtured and mentored and encouraged and inspired when they're pursuing a career path or a personal path. Those talents, those traits of leadership, it's exciting. And that's what a leader does. They put their hand out and they say, trust me. I'll step into this muck with you, but trust me, my hand is here for you. Let me help you jump up to the next rock. Let me help you climb to the next ladder. Let me help you learn the next step in the process, and I'll be right there to support you. These, my friends, are qualities that define a leader, very different than the boss. Okay, so now we know what defines a leader. Who is a leader? Can anybody be a leader? I don't know. Does a leader have to have a title? Leaders are those who lead a team. They spearhead projects. They are people who pursue excellence. Leaders are subject matter experts who share their knowledge and their skill sets because they want to, because they cannot wait for others to learn. They are a trainer. Leaders are those with vision that draw others in to want to participate. And leaders inspire, motivate, and encourage others. In fact, L&R is really blessed because we have an array of leaders. Leaders here with L&R are individuals who dare to dream and challenge the status quo. You guys, leaders amongst us are merchandisers, they're account managers, they're warehouse employees, they work in IT, they work in sales, they are purchasers, project managers, creative design associates, product vendors, they're in HR, they're everywhere around us. We have leaders who don't have this glorified title. They are people, though, who cast vision, who immerse themselves, and who care about others around them. They love to see the success of others, and they like to support them. They don't have to have a title to be a leader. That's exciting. That's very exciting. As John Quincy Adams is known for a quote, he said quite several years ago, he said, if your actions inspire others to dream more, to learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. Wow, that should feel really good. Is that you? Can you inspire others? Do you want them to learn more? Do you want them to dream big dreams, to pursue it, to become more? If so, you're on the right path. You're a leader. And that is what John Quincy Adams is defining here in his quote. But people-centric leadership, why? Why are we tagging it with these buzzwords? What is people-centric leadership all about? What does it mean? I get what a leader is now, Linda. Okay, you said boss is this, leaders are this. I get that. Avid learners. I'm an avid learner. You're an avid learner. You signed up to participate today. We are avid learners. We crave more. We want to learn more. We want to develop. But people-centric leadership, what is that about? People-centric leadership means placing the people at the heart of absolutely everything. Everything. People first. When people are cared for, when they know that they matter, when they recognize that we know them more as just a title or a first name, they become the heart of that job. And then ultimately the job gets done. People-centric leadership means valuing each employee as an individual, not just their job title. Addressing the personal side of employees, hearing their feelings and needs. Now let's go one step further, because yes, we can hear their needs, we can listen to their feelings, etc. But we also need to react. It's one thing to hear it. It's another thing to do something with it. And that's when we're displaying the fact that I heard you. Now let me help, or let me assist, or let me just come beside you and I'll be your rah-rah person if that's what we need. People-centric leadership means building connections with your team members, with the people around you. You could be a remote employee with L&R and you have people there to support you. They're not breathing over your shoulder. They're not 2 miles away, but they're there to support you. But it's important that we make it known and they know who we are and we begin to build that trust level. People-centric leadership is understanding what colleagues need to perform at their best, providing them with the tools and support, and understanding that one size doesn't fit all. Folks, if I'm at a water cooler and I'm having a conversation with someone, I'm encouraged because I'm getting to know them. I now know a little bit more about them than just their name or their job title. I know maybe this is a single dad of 3 kids, working 2 jobs, loves his job here with L&R, wants to grow and learn more. Okay, great. That was a wonderful conversation. Now another person comes up while I'm filling my glass, and I try to engage in the same type of conversation. It doesn't work this time. This person may not be as open-minded. They may function more in a bubble. That conversation, just because it worked with one person, isn't going to work with the other. And people-centric leaders recognize this, and they figure out, how am I going to get to know the people around me on a more personal level? Because today's business world is more of a life-work balance versus the older day, back when I was way young, it was more of a work-life balance. We're not there anymore, people. It's a life work. We need to know those that work around us. When the business becomes more personal, the business will flourish. The people inside that business will flourish. And that's really what we want to pursue. All right, so how does someone become a people-centric leader? Because, wow, I'm on board, right? I think this is great. I'm there. I think I'm kind of a people-centric leader. I definitely respect and I see avid learners around me. But how do I ensure I'm on the right track to becoming a full-fledged people-centric leader? Well, it begins by not confusing this with employee experience. Employee experiences are not people-centric leadership, like going by people's desks and bumping fists and high fives and, hey, take the afternoon off. Those are short-lived. They're nice and people appreciate them, but they're very short-lived. They're not gaining longevity. We're not reaching below the surface to figure out who these individuals are. How do we partner better? Where's that cohesion? How to become a people-centric leader looks like this: the human touch. Now, again, I just want to reiterate, some of you are going to be able to work through this process quickly. It's going to come natural. Other leaders will have a challenge and they'll have to spend some concentrated time and spend effort in developing and working on the human touch. Infusing humanity into your leadership style is how you're going to become a people-centric leader. So, my friends, let me equip you with a few touch points on how you can get started. First off, remove barriers. When we take down barriers, it opens means to success stories. Encourage and support others in their career path. Open lines of communication and then reacting to it. Open door policies. Let's function with an open door versus a closed door. Let's immerse ourselves in the activities going on around us and not be standing on the sidelines watching. Provide those opportunities for growth. Now, sometimes this means we have to be out of the box thinkers. That's a little uncomfortable for some people. And some people go, I don't really know how to do that. But guess what? We're a company of over 1,500 people. We have creative individuals here. We have out of the box thinkers. All we need to do is find those out of the box thinkers to partner with and they will help you grow in this area. They will help you figure out, how do I provide opportunities for those people around me? And then there's mentorship. You could be a strong mentor for others. Maybe you're going to raise up mentors for people that are also there surrounding you. But mentorship is a strong way to look at humanity. Regular performance reviews. Now, I am not referring to a performance review that is attached to something monetary. But as human beings, we like to know, how are we doing? Are we doing all right? Are we meeting those expectations of yours? What are my weak points, and how am I supposed to develop those? We want to know what our performance is like, what our attitudes are like, what our behaviors are like. And those can be extremely healthy conversations. And it doesn't have to come with a monetary attachment. Instead, it's about personal growth, career growth. And that's really what we want to be leaning into. Get to know the individual. Again, don't just know their title. Don't just go, oh, that's Linda over there in the corner. She sits there all the time. Okay, but you don't know anything about me. How are you going to encourage me or develop me or partner with me until you get below the surface? Try to understand what motivates and drives the people around you. Once we begin to work on these humanities skill sets and infusing them into our leadership styles, that's when we will begin to morph ourselves into more of a people-centric leader. And infusing humanity, everyone, it fosters that environment that becomes more welcoming, and it provides a learning space. I get so excited when I go to say this, for the people around you to soar. We want people to be that eagle out there. We want them to soar, to feel free, that they are learning, they are expanding, that there is promise for them. We want them to feel good about themselves and the positions they have and the person they are. When individuals trust their company, when they know their company has their best interest at heart, when they know their company recognizes them as more than just a number, an ID number, guess what? They're not going to look across the street and go, the grass is greener over there and I'll get $5 more. They're just not, because being in an environment where you know that you're nurtured and you're cared for and people listen to you and you have trust in them, it is so much more valuable than what might be across the street. When people are in a place where they feel good, they're not looking to go somewhere else, because those touchy-feely things, they mean more to human beings. They really do. But we as leaders, we have to give it our due diligence to be that people-centric leader. We really do. Because at the end of the day, it benefits the person. It benefits the company. Our retention rates go up. But most of all, people just grow and flourish. And really, that's what we should want for each other. So what would be next steps? Where do we go from here? What do we do? Well, guess what? Next steps would be to provide your colleagues, the associates around you, with the right tools. What do they need? Do they need an actual toolkit? Do they need a hammer and a chisel and whatever? What do they need? How can we provide that for them? Training. We need to ensure that we are upping our game and that we're putting training as a priority, that it is not only focused on work-related training, but also on personal related training. Resources. Do they have the resources around them? Time. Everyone, people need time. They need time to train. They need time to explore. They need time with you. They need time with each other. They need to engage with one another and have those conversations and do some exploratory research. Time is what they might need. And then authenticity and transparency, trust. When they can trust us, we trust them. It's a win-win. And then I want to leave you with this, role models. Do you have the right role models in place? Are you the right role model? Or did somebody just become a role model because we needed somebody to fill that role and we thought, okay, you've done this for 10 years. You're probably a good role model. Well, just because they've performed it for 10 years doesn't mean they can teach it, that they actually can exude those traits that will help develop someone else. People-centric leaders, they see those people. They see leaders begin to rise. And why do they see them? Because they see the avid learners following them. Leaders aren't leaders without followers, right? Avid learners. Avid learners need leaders. And avid learners need people-centric leaders. It's a phenomenal handshake when it all comes together. And it will honestly be the success for L&R here when we begin to embrace that people-centric leader with our avid learners. It paints a beautiful picture. So don't let go of this training quite yet. Don't throw it on the bookshelf and say, someday I'll get back to that. Or, you know what, I think I'm already a people-centric leader. There's nothing to learn about this. I really want to stop you right there, my friends, and just put this question out there to you. And I hope, I'm going to trust that when you go back to your workspace, you'll sit there for a minute and really think about this and go, well, how can I apply the learnings from today? Where am I at in this process of being a people-centric leader? What do I need to learn and develop? And I'll tell you all, you're on the right path. You're here with me today. So clearly you're an avid learner, but you're also pursuing that people-centric leadership that does not require a title. So ask yourselves, how can you apply the learnings from today? And what are you going to do about it? All right. Anyone like to share? Do you have a thought in mind about people-centric leadership? Do you think that you're there, or do you think you have some learnings that you can work on? Any thoughts? Wendy.
I think just really making sure that your team knows that you're available for them, really having a very adamant open door policy definitely assists in being a great leader to your team. Them knowing that they can come to you with any sort of issue, regardless of what it might be, is something that's very important to them.
I agree. And knowing that you're not going to shoot them down. Like they can come to you with that question and know that you're going to give them a truthful answer. And you're going to direct them in the right location, the right direction they need to take, which is best for them. May not be best for you, but it's going to be best for them. I love that. Thanks, Wendy, for sharing. Anyone else? Okay, well, that's all right. Maybe you're just sitting in your chairs thinking about this and wondering, where am I in this process? Spend some time. If you want to give me a shout later, we can talk about it as well, because I love this topic. All right, as promised, everyone, sit tight for just a minute here, because I have a sneak peek for you into the year 2025. Cool things are around the corner for us. We're a growing company. We have our own challenges. We are growing. And in this sneak peek for 2025, I'm going to just whet your appetite a little bit. From the survey and from work step and conversations, as I mentioned, there were certainly some trainings that evolved, all right, that surfaced. What I'd like to do is kick off 2025 with DISC, Personality Assessment. Some of you might have done this in other companies. I don't know. I know I have, Gail has, and in speaking, Gail and I just about DISC, I just get giddy. It's another topic I enjoy. But I think it's a great piece that will create energy for LNR. It gives us a fresh perspective